So again, I have to remind you, do not mistake the way I behave and the way I look for something that if you see in other people that they're good. No one is like me. All right, so this video is about eugenics. Francis Galton, the guy who coined the term, said eugenics' purpose was to improve or impair racial qualities in a way that favors the elite and the oppressors, okay, using the existing agencies of social controls and groups, and there's a lot more of these groups than people think when I bring it up, generally speaking. All right, so when we look at it, it's the guy who's more romantic than Boys to Men in the song Water Runs Dry versus a racist joker trying to play off the system's angle that is playing. Eugenics as a philosophy is the #1 enemy of humanity, and it by default breeds psychos, sociopaths, sexual sadists, child molesters, mentally and otherwise, and narcissists. It is the major cause of the worst forms of obsessive compulsive disorder, because the people doing this, you know, they're like fixated lunatics, you know, often sissy behaving. They kind of say, that insist on their way, like spoiled rich brats, okay, that aren't very serious and aren't very realistic in terms of their expectations for humanity, and they're narcissistic, right? They have unreasonable expectations in regards to how much people should admire them. They have a lack of empathy, like the psychopath does. The psychopath is, generally speaking, their antisocial behavior, their impaired sense of empathy and remorse. They're bold, and they're disinhibited, and they have egotistical traits. Now you have to apply this properly. Okay, now what is, you know, in terms of reality, not, you know, in terms of what some arrogant, you know, oppressor would say, but with their theater arts, propaganda, and psychology. Okay, so what's the difference between me saying I'm the top martial artist ever? Well, let's look at it this way. I move faster than Tyson, and I have faster reflexes. So it's safe to say I could strike him down quickly. Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, they couldn't cut the distance. John Jones, all them, they're not serious enough, they're too clumsy. They fight like a cartoon character and not like a serious surgical striking killer with a deep cause. Okay? Cause and effect. Moral, mental, spiritual, and romantic clarity are connected. Okay? So the son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon from Nigeria, saying he's the top martial artist ever, that's a logical conclusion. Sound conclusion when you look at the wordplay and the evidence, such as Kuro Obi black belt. My tribe is Igbo. It's Obi spelled black belt. The word Obi spelled backwards is Igbo. Okay, Kuro Obi means black belt. It even has the word cure, cure the reproductive cycle. Okay, Obi means king, heart, hut, essence, center, core, etc. So even the word black belt for jujitsu, karate, taekwondo, on and on and on, okay, points right to me as the master of masters. Okay, and part of, you know, what this Taekwondo guy named Master Hyo Cho said, he said, you know, first one must try to understand themselves, then they must master themselves, and they must try to understand others. If they don't understand why they have to be able to beat me, okay, before I'm too sabotaged to say that they're the best, okay, then they don't understand themselves. They didn't try to understand others. You know, they certainly didn't master themselves. You see what I'm saying? And part of mastering yourself is understanding others. Yourself compared to what, right? In what context? Okay, and even the word context is the word con. Context, contrast, don't be fooled by the con. The theater arts, the propaganda, the psychology. So when you see this going on, part of what is at stake, okay, is whether the most moral person that ever lived, using logic, right, universal pinpointing moral precision and focused moral intensity, right, focused strikes, focused, you know, mentally sparring, to spar with somebody, they're connected, mind, body, soul, spirit. What is at stake is whether the most moral person that ever lived expresses power, social power and otherwise, in society. Okay, there's over 380,000 churches in America. And not a single one of them, those countless representatives from basically all of them, at least their factions, have come across me. Not a single one of them has a viable counter-argument to my Jesus argument. That Jesus Christ is an idea that is superimposed on the top martial artist ever. We see that he talks about he's the son of David and Goliath. We see the heavenly warrior defeats the beast in Revelation 19. You see how this all comes together. It's connected. Whether you admit eugenics is wrong and you admit that it's going on, okay, is connected to whose ideal. It's connected to morality versus eugenic corporate blood money being leveraged unfairly. It's connected to over 500,000 women being raped a year, 3 million children starving to death, 9 million people starving to death every year around the world. It's connected to mass drugging and mass murder and wars. It's all connected. Who listens to who and why? Even the word Horus, right? His oldest form that is brought up is Har-O-Aries. And in my tribe, Aries comes down from the sky and is embodied by the top martial artists in the Igbo tribe. Of course, there's witchcraft ninnies who would argue that's not correct, but it is. Aries is a play on words for ear, eye, and error. Okay, who are you listening to and why? Focus moral intensity through the king. Why does the king wear a sword? Spirit and a spear, spearing something. Okay, it doesn't take a brain surgeon son who's the top martial artist ever to know that everyone else lacks the mental power and the moral excellence and moral will to insist on these arguments. Okay, if you cannot transcend the desire to cower from moral responsibility, you're no match for the top martial artist with both hands tied behind his back.